So this guy calls my show last night, and I was just about. We had this guy Evgeny Avnisi, who has made this beautiful new film about Pope Francis. That's really great. I recommend it to atheists and believers and people of all faiths. He's a Jewish filmmaker, and it's all about love and nonviolence and peace. And anyway, before we go to the break, I said let's take one more call. And this fellow calls in, and he said to me that he got a calendar alert. He had to call me. Because 1 year ago, way back, remember a year ago when like Chris Matthews had a TV show and he was warning us about vape pens, like that far back, right?
Wow.
Yeah. He called my show in the beginning of lockdown and told me about how his parents were such staunch pro-Trumpers. And his parents, of course, didn't believe in any of this. It was all a hoax. Everything Trump said a year ago, it'll be fine with the warm weather. And apparently I said to this gentleman 1 year ago, March 25th of 2020, I said, yeah, well, call me back in a year. Call me up in 1 year and let's see how it goes. I forgot about it, but he didn't. And he set a calendar on it.
Yeah.
And it worked. And he called me last night, 1 year to the day. And I said, well, how are your parents? And they're both dead. They were both Trump supporters. They both believed it was a hoax. They both fought it. They both died terribly, and they died alone. And when his mother got it, his father actually joked to him, she got the Kung flu. And his child will never know her grandparents because they trusted Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Just like thousands of other people are not going to make it because they trusted Donald Trump. Much in the same way, 30,000 Americans alive now won't be alive at Christmas time because they trust the party of Donald Trump about guns. And this is it's both a suicidal and a homicidal cult, this Republican Party. And then I had to tell the guy, well, this is an amazing story, but I'm sorry, I got to go. The Pope guy's online too. So, but it's just amazing that like we're seeing all this, and it doesn't matter how many times they're proven wrong. Like Bush crashed the economy. There were no WMDs. We were not greeted as liberators. Trump never built a wall. He did not bring back manufacturing. He did not change the economy. He just followed Obama's economic trends and rode the recovery wave while eating Big Macs. And yet they haven't learned. They won't learn. It is a cult. They are beyond reason. And that's why I always say we can't hate them. We got to beat them. Got to beat them every time. And we can't hate them. And so when we see what happened in Georgia this week and we realize, oh my, congratulations, Joe Manchin. I really think Joe Biden has come up with the right third way solution on the filibuster. Go back to the Jimmy Stewart version. Make Ted Cruz read Green Eggs and Ham for 17 hours straight and let the American people see what their taxes are funding to obstruct. They got to do something, and they can't kill it. They can't go forward. They've got to try something. And I actually think Biden's really on to something here. So, I mean, but of course, what do I know? Joe Biden, I mean, people who think Donald Trump was fit for office are really busy telling me Joe Biden's not fit for office.
Yeah. Well, yesterday on Fox News, they were the whole time they were talking about how, Joe Biden has dementia, Joe Biden, cognitive decline, Joe Biden. Last night on Sean Hannity, all of a sudden he's saying Joe Biden came out too prepared for this. He had a briefing book. It's what do you want?
You understand that Barack Obama was an amateur in over his head and a socialist mastermind? Can't you walk and chew gum at the same time, people?
Exactly.
Yeah, Donald Trump is a Christian, and he's also, he likes to party. I mean, it's just like, by the way, Christians can party. But I mean, they're beyond reason. It's a cult, and you're never going to win having a debate with these people unless you have an audience for it. And if you're debating a person on social media whose Twitter account began in January, February, or March 2021, you're not debating a person.
Right.
The bots are out there. Always check the follower count before you allow yourself to get sucked into a debate, unless you have a reply that's so witty you want to share it with the world.
Right.
But, like, you're not going to win with these guys.
And then you quote tweet them. You don't reply to them. You quote tweet them.
Correct.
Yes.
You ridicule them. Ridicule and nonviolence are still the two most effective tools against fascism.
Yeah.
And so we got to mock them, and we got to beat them. and we can't hate them because they are our beloved racist uncles and aunts. Are that guy from high school we still talk to on Facebook? I mean, I think hate makes us stupid, and they're wrong about everything, and we're the liberals. It sucks being us. We're like the X-Men. They think that we're mutants, but we're actually more evolved, and we have to fight for the people who are afraid of us. Well, Joe Biden is fighting so hard for the white people who have been taught to despise Joe Biden.
Yeah, no, you talk about like our friends. She's become a joke on the show. My mom's racist friend Linda. They go to dinner on Friday nights, and she will sit there and tell my mom, "Oh, these COVID deaths are made up because they get $3,000 every time they report somebody died of COVID at the hospital. So they are inflating the numbers." That's something she learned from Rush Limbaugh. Yeah, from listening to Rush Limbaugh. That is just straight up where that came from. And at the same time, she and her husband could not wait to get in line to get their vaccines.
Of course not.
Of course not. Yeah.
Which just the hypocrisy of it. And I think part of what's going on in Georgia, we talked about this voter suppression, and the Republicans need to ensure less Democrats are voting or less voters. It's partially because Trump is killing off their voting base. He's literally killing off their voting base between COVID and guns.
Well, it's also that their voting base is just getting older and dying.
Yeah.
The median age of the average Laura Ingraham viewer is dead. And they're getting older and whiter and meaner. And we have to remember something. All of these regressive, toxic, anti-democracy laws we're seeing in Georgia, this raid at our capital, QAnon Ghazi, this is all happening because the old white racists are terrified.
Yeah.
They can look at a calendar and they know in 2045, the people who hate minorities are going to be one. And they are flipping out. And so we should expect a lot more of this. And sometimes it'll be benign and funny. Sometimes it'll be violent and horrific. But they're losing. They are losing all the time. And when we hear the media talk about our evenly divided Senate, okay, but technically the Democratic side represents 41 million more voters than the Republican side. It's not evenly divided. And America is overwhelmingly more progressive than the media lets on. The majority of us want to decriminalize weed. The majority of us want common sense gun laws. The majority of us want the rich to pay higher taxes. So, we're not that divided. And that's why I kind of like that Joe Biden isn't playing the game.
And speaking of weed, congratulations, John. It's recreational use is available in New York now.
Whoa, well, let me tell you something. 2 weeks ago, I said, can you imagine everything Andrew Cuomo is going to do really fast to save his job? Can you imagine? Oh, it's going to be free recreational cannabis. It's going to, you think I want all the money going across the river to Jersey? No. They're going to do whatever they can do. Yeah. Because look, Ralph Northam, what happened when he stepped in it as governor of Virginia? Well, here's your blackface picture, Ralph. And he wrote it out. The black voters of his state still supported him.
Yep.
Yes. And Ralph Northam became a get stuff done machine.
Yeah.
With gun laws in his state, they banned the death penalty. The first execution in this country in 1608 was in Virginia. They've had more executions than any other state. Now they're second only to Texas. Banned it this week. So I'm like, Andrew Cuomo knows that he can never run for office again, right? Like he knows it's done.
Right.
His only hope is to salvage what's left of his reputation by doing so many good things for the people of New York. I'm kind of like, let's make this guy our bitch and keep him there.
Well, that's what he's there for. Now,
you got another year and a half.
I like having terrified public servants. I'm sorry. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Cuomo, I don't think he's going to go. I think it's 50-50 he goes. He should go, but I do believe he deserves the thorough investigation that Al Franken didn't get, and that Brett Kavanaugh avoided as well.
Yes.
Now,
did the 100%. Legislature have to approve the legalization of cannabis, or was that just unilaterally by Cuomo?
Well, I don't know. The legislature has to approve it, but
I think it was done through the legislature.
Okay.
I called it 2 weeks ago that you're going to have legal weed before Easter in New York State because Cuomo's going to do anything to either make us like him more or make us have enough short-term memory loss we forget what he did.
Yeah.
So you're saying for Easter he's not just risen, he's high.
We'll see, right? I don't know how he can survive it, especially since we learned that, his family got to cut ahead of the vaccine line.
Yeah. And they pulled Chris Cuomo off the air.
Can you Mario Cuomo, who is in heaven, is just shaking his head right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But again, we get to call Cuomo out.
Right.
We get to rag on him. We get to mock him all day long.
Right.
Our other friends of President Sippy Cup Afraid of Stairs, they can sit this one the hell out.
Yep.
I mean, if you defended Trump, you don't get to complain about corruption or sexual harassment or pretty much anything.
No.
So
we call our own people out. You know, they don't call people out on the other side.
Democrats eject them, Republicans reelect them, and that's how it works.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh.
We'll throw them out if they're not guilty.
And we have.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned Laura Ingraham earlier. You missed it. Trump called into Laura's show last night.
What a summit! What a summit.
I think I told you it was the White Sheet Summit. Chris,
can I ask? Was he encouraging his followers again to get the vaccine, like he did on Maria's show last week? Because he's terrified.
I don't think he brought that up.
It did not come up.
No.
Oh my!
That was not in any of the reporting I saw on that last night. He did not bring up the.
It doesn't serve Laura Ingram's agenda very well for him to bring that up.
Of course.
True. But he did what I thought was, and what we won't be able to get to all this before our commercial break, but he started trying to rehab the people who broke into our Capitol. They defiled our Capitol. They were responsible for 5 people dying. Let's hear clip number 14.
It's up to 8 now.
It's up to 8 now. Let's hear clip number 14.
Right from the start, it was zero threat. Look, they went in. They shouldn't have done it. Some of them went in and they're hugging and kissing the police and the guards. You know, they had great relationships. A lot of the people were waved in, and then they walked in and they walked out. And I'll tell you what, they're doing things they're persecuting a lot of those people. And some of them some things should happen to them, but.
Yeah.
Is that it? It was eloquent for him.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone made Darth Jabba watch 60 Minutes last week. Yeah. That's what that was about.
Yeah.
He specifically talks about that. He specifically talks about that. Let's do clip number 15.
When I look at Antifa in Washington, even what they did to Washington and what they did to other locations and the destruction and frankly the killing and the beating up of people, and nothing happens to them whatsoever. Why aren't they going after Antifa? I watched this gentleman on 60 Minutes the other night. It was horrible what he said.
What beatings?
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe Antifa was responsible for any deaths in any of these protests. I know there was one cop who was shot in Oakland, and that turned out to be a right-wing group that did that.
Yeah, here's what I say to everybody. Where is Antifa's home office?
Right.
Who's the leader of Antifa?
Yeah.
Can you name one member? Can you name one person who has been confirmed killed by Antifa? Because we've got over 300 killed by white supremacists since 1994 in this country. Name one killed by Antifa. That, like, literally, they've gone from scapegoating to scapegoating fictional characters.
Yes.
Okay, boogeymen.
Yeah, it is literally the boogeyman.
Like decent people who aren't horrible are anti-fascist and anti-violence.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that complicated.
Right.
But, I mean, Antifa exists like Donald Trump's grades at Wharton exist. And they're going to keep on doing these deflections, but they only work in the bubble. And the fact that Trump is doing this and going back to the bubble this soon on the Laura Ingraham show shows us he's terrified down there in Florida. He knows what's coming. And this is why I hope he does run for president. Can you imagine if he does run in 2024? Because who's he going to be up against? Ron DeSantis, Ted Cruz, and sweet Jesus, please, Tucker Carlson.
Oh God.
Everyone and Marco Rubio and Mike Pence, everyone who's been blindly obedient and subservient and has buried their faces in Trump's fleshy nether folds, his most loyal Renfield blood slaves. Can you imagine if they're on stage with Donald Trump and we get to watch Trump berating them all?
Yeah.
I mean, I just want Trump to berate all the Republicans who run against him like he did last time, because karma plays a long game.
Yep.
And Trump will never be president again. There is no real Antifa. And we have to remember, this is all white supremacy. Those guys that stormed our Capitol waving the flag of treason and owning people and hating America, they were doing it to throw out the votes of predominantly urban voters. Certain districts in Pennsylvania and Arizona where those punks did not live.
Right.
Our media's greatest failing has been turning an ignorant eye to the white supremacy, from the birtherism racist lies to the fact that white supremacy was at the core of what we saw on January 6th. And they're going to lose.
Yes, they
Long
are.
term, they're losing.
Good morning, dear.
Oh, cut!
We have a lot to celebrate this week.
You have the right to remain tripping your balls.
It's like Illuminati, but with leather.
First day at Fight Club, you must fight!
2020 refuses to concede.
I was going to have to return 2021 because I didn't like the 7-day trial. But I'm in now. We're in, sexy liberals.